the partner that comes into therapy completely frustrated and at the feeling like they've reached critical mass, like they don't know what else to do at this point. And so they're coming into couples therapy. And I'm going to add another layer to this. A lot of times they're coming in for a sexual issue, because a lot of times this shows up first in the bedroom. And that can be one partner doesn't want to have sex anymore. There is pressure around sex. There's lack of communication around sex. And when two people that came together because they love each other and they want to build this life together, but they stop being intimate together, it shines a light almost immediately. But sex, 99% of the time, is the symptom, or I should say lack of sex 99% of the time is a symptom for something bigger that's happening in the relationship, not connecting on a physical level. I think just in general, like physical touch and having sexual intimacy when we become adults is really a form of connection and communication. It's the way our body communicates, right? We've got all these hormones and feelings that are surging through our body. So our body also needs to express itself just as much as our words express themselves, right? So obviously you know, dancing, playing sports, exercising, those are all ways that we express from our body. And when we want to express that with someone that we love or someone that we feel connected to or someone that we're attracted to, we want to do that physically. And when that's absent from a relationship, it can start to feel like the whole world is falling apart. The whole relationship is falling apart. So we often see people coming in with that. When we peel back the layers, what we often find out is a variety of things, but what I'm going to talk about today is when one partner comes in and is saying, let's fix the other partner. 9 times out of 10, when this happens, there's one partner that really wants change and the other partner's just coming along for the ride. And the partner that wants to fix things wants to go to therapy. They have this idea that they can see everything that's going wrong if only their partner can see it. But they're beating their head up against a wall because their partner doesn't feel like they're listening to them, is not hearing them, and they're just fighting more and more. So this is just a bigger form of the blame game. I talk about the blame game a lot because in therapy we see this a lot. Well, you do this, well, he does this, well, she does this, you know, it's just like this back and forth ping pong. There's often an idea like my partner needs help. My partner is the one that needs therapy. I'm trying to explain it to him or her. Can you help me explain it to him or her? And therapy's not about that. Therapy is about you two coming together and working together, right? So the person that brings the partner to therapy, I call them the initiator. They are initiating this whole thing. And the partner is along for the ride. They're the passenger. Now, how do we flip that on its head to make this a team effort? Because if someone's initiating it and bringing their partner along to therapy, heck, even paying for it, and the other partner's just along for the ride, we've got already out the gate an imbalance. We've got an imbalance showing up in our office. And 9 times out of 10, that person that initiated therapy somehow thinks that the partner that they're bringing to therapy is the one that needs to be fixed. And so now the therapist is tasked with being a referee, with being a judge. And newsflash, we don't do that. You know, if you're working with a really intuitive therapist that is present with you and present with you in the room, like I personally try to be, I try to be as honest as I can with partners around what I'm seeing. And a lot of times that does mean I'm taking sides. If I notice that one partner the way they're showing up is feeling, and the other partner's feeling bullied by it, I'm going to tell that partner how their behavior makes me feel. Right? I might say, you know, this, your partner feels bullied by it, but actually when I'm sitting here listening to you, I feel something even bigger coming up, right? I might feel, I'm trying to think of an example, but I might feel like shutting down because my presence in the room is valid and important. So this video is twofold. Like, one, if you're trying to get your partner into therapy, while I'm a huge fan of couples therapy, and I think it's so important because then the therapist gets to work with the system, and I'm a systems therapist. The family system is so important than taking the individual out and doing individual therapy, because then what happens, the individual goes right back home and they're thrown into the system, and the system, the family is not changing, the individual is tasked with that. But when you have couples coming in, both partners now are aware of how the system is working at home, and they can both go home and start to implement changes. But one of the things to recognize is that person that initiated therapy is quite often the person that is managing the relationship. And managing the relationship often means that something has made you feel unsafe, something has made you distrust your partner, and underneath you might be feeling like you don't believe that your partner is capable of taking care of things. And so you're working overtime, and the more you work overtime, the less your partner shows up. There's a term for it that I see out on social media all the time. It's called weaponized incompetence. That's what happens, right? Like, that's a natural, normal thing for partners to feel when their partner tries to take over and do everything and manage everything. Weaponized incompetence. It can disempower people. It can make them feel like they are dependent on someone else, or it might just make them check out. And over time, the balance becomes even more disimbalanced. So one of our jobs is to help you see that pattern. One of our jobs is not to fix this for you, because we can't. I always remind my couples this: it's your relationship. It is your relationship. You have to show up and fix it. So the person that you're dragging into the therapy room, if they're not committed to the process, you may just learn that they are not willing to do the work as you had already suspected. To therapy, maybe it's the last ditch effort. We're here to support you. But I think it's important to recognize that if you have to drag or manipulate or to convince your partner to show up to therapy, you are already doing the majority of the work. So I want your relationship to work, but I also believe strongly that there are other ways in which you can show up or stop showing up, as it were, to balance the playing field before coming to therapy. But that's up to you. That's just my spiel, because what I've seen in couples therapy too often is that when a partner continues to advocate for therapy, book the appointments, show up for therapy, even though it doesn't fit in time for their schedule, even though the other partner's like, I don't have time for this, I don't want to do it, they're dragging their heels. The partner that keeps pushing for it continues to keep the couple stuck in that cycle. It's just something to notice, because if you continue to do that over time, you are actually perpetuating that dynamic that you wanted to fix in the first place. We can't fix that for you. So this is just kind of like, I wanted to shine a light on that pattern today. I will be back next week with more tips for your relationship. Thanks for tuning in to Pleasure for the Masses. If you are interested in working with a couples therapist or a sex therapist or an individual sex therapist, click our link below, losangelessextherapy.com. If you are interested in becoming an intimacy coach or you want to be mentored to become a sex therapist. If you're already a pre-licensed therapist or a licensed therapist, click the link below for Pleasure Psych for my training program. Thanks so much. See you soon.